Less than 2 days. Less than 2 days, folks. It is Tuesday night, March 26th. As I record this, less than 2 days, folks. Opening day, Thursday, 4 p.m., Yankees, Houston. And can I just say one thing? It should be illegal. Completely illegal, because we're Yankees fans and we're the Yankees and we're all better than you. For a Yankees opening day to be away from the Bronx. It should never not be in the Bronx, New York, in front of 40,000 New Yorkers. It should never not be there. I hate opening, and not only are they opening up on the road, they're out west for a decent amount of time. They have a 4-game set in Houston. Then they travel to Arizona for 3 days. They have the off day, and they don't get back home until, is it April 9th? It's going to be a bit before we get to see Juan Soto in Yankee pinstripes in an actual game. But regardless, we're going to talk about the Yankees and their 26-man roster, what we think will be the 26-man roster. As it seems like they are starting to finalize it. It'll probably be out officially tomorrow, Wednesday, the 27th, which is probably when this episode will be released, early morning Wednesday. Unless I can get it up Tuesday night. Let's get into it, folks. Let's get into episode 652 of BD4. Welcome to the podcast. I'm your host, RJ Carbone. You are listening to BD4, where there's no better way to get your Yankees and Knicks analysis. We also do MMA. Yanks every series, Knicks every game, MMA on occasion. Let's get to it.
Anthony for three. That one goes down, and the game is tied.
I'd like to take this chance to apologize to absolutely nobody.
The Yankees are champions of baseball.
Shaking and baking right here on the neophyte.
U.S. trying to close the show. She was doing a great job of feeding that. It's over.
Coming up, so JP, don't you regret not coming to the net? Don't you regret not coming to the net?
Game over. World Series over. Yankees win. The Yankees win.
All right. Okay. Episode 652. Let me fix that. 652 of BD4. Welcome to the show. Covering the Yankees again. Probably, you never know because I've been saying this, probably the last episode until the season opens up and we cover the Yankees-Houston series. If you are new here, we do Yankees every series. We do Knicks every game and MMA on occasion. All right. So I will be covering the Yankees on a series-to-series basis like we usually do. And we will miss some here and there. But we try to get to 85% of the season or more. So we'll be doing Yankees-Houston after their 4-game set. This is probably the final episode until then. The final Yankees episode. We'll be doing the Knicks games. But the Yankees open up on Thursday, 4 p.m., and I am thrilled. I'm just as thrilled as anybody. As I said, I think opening day should be in the Bronx all the time because we're the Yankees and we're better than all of you. I think we have our roster, folks. It seems like we have a pretty great idea of what the 26-man is going to be, and that's what we're going to discuss in this episode. 26 men. The Yankees are carrying 13 pitchers, 4 left-handed pitchers, 9 right-handed pitchers. The rotation, and this is according to Boone, he was on Talking Yanks, and he said, in order, it's going to be Nestor, Rodon, Stroman, Schmidt, and Luis Gil. 1 to 5. Your bullpen, Hamilton, Loizaga, Clay Holmes, Luke Weaver, Clayton Beeter, Nick Birdie, Caleb Ferguson, and Victor Gonzalez. Those are your 13 pitchers, your 5 starters, and your 8 relievers / spot starters, openers. 13 position players that leaves, 6 left-handed hitters, 6 righties, and a switch, who's probably going to favor the left side. Your outfield consists of, obviously, Juan Soto, Aaron Judge, Alex Verdugo, and Trent Grisham, along with, it seems like this kid, Jahmai Jones, minor leaguer. Stanton will be at DH, obviously. Going to the infield, it looks like it's going to be Rizzo, Glaber, Volpe, Oswaldo. And then it seems like the Yankees are going to carry 3 catchers. Trevino, Wells, and Big Ben Rortvedt. Now, this is obviously subject to change. There are still a couple of days left before opening day. It's not an official 26-man. This is just what I think they're going to do. And they do have 4 injured players. So, obviously, when some of them come back, then things will change on the 26-man. DJ LeMahieu is hurt with the foot. Oswald Peraza is going to be out a few months. Garrett Cole obviously is going to be out a few months. And Tommy Kahnle seems like it's probably the shortest term injury of the 4. Knock on wood, because he is older. And he's a pitcher. So that's your 26-man, folks. It's pretty different. It's a lot different. And in the minor leagues to start the season, I'm assuming it's going to be Ron Marinaccio, who's up and down, but he's not starting on the 26. Nick Ramirez, who had some appearances last year. So, yeah, there are a lot of new faces, right? I mean, you go around and Stroman's new. Luis Gil is new. Luke Weaver is semi-new because he barely pitched last year. Clayton Beeter is new. Birdie is new. Ferguson, Gonzalez, they're new. Obviously, Soto, Verdugo, Grisham, this Jahmai Jones kid, and Austin Wells, who obviously played a month last year. So it's a very interesting 26-man rotation. 26-man roster, excuse me. I have some questions about it, and I want to get to my questions when we return from our first break here on BD4, episode 562. Stay with us. Be right back.
Hey there. Thanks for listening in so far. If you enjoy this episode, please give us a 5-star rating and review on Apple Podcasts. And if you're on YouTube, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Thanks so much.
Yeah, man, I have some questions. I have some questions for the Yankees. It's interesting to me that they're carrying 3 catchers. Not a lot of teams do that. But Ben Rortvedt doesn't have any options left. But that still doesn't really make me go, oh, that makes sense, because it's Ben Rortvedt. Why are we so terrified of potentially losing him? It's not guaranteed. Nobody is guaranteed to pick him up. There are better players, too, on the 40 who had a better camp, who've been better in their minor league careers, that I feel like deserve a shot over Ben Rortvedt. I feel like that's wasting a spot on the 26. Could have probably added in another pitcher, and that's always good. But they went with 3 catchers. Now, they can always drop Rortvedt at any time. And I would say that's likely. But that was interesting to me right off the bat when I saw that. And like you go around the infield, kind of concerning if any more guys get hurt. DJ's already hurt. Peraza's already hurt. Second and third base, or 2 third basemen, I guess Peraza was like, they're kind of using him all around the infield maybe, if he were to play. But he's hurt. DJ at third base is hurt. And so it just makes you... Yeah, Peraza's a shortstop anyway. He was going to play third base, I would assume. But, as a backup. What if, Rizzo goes down? What if Glaber goes down? What if Anthony Volpe goes down? What if Oswaldo doesn't hit and is so bad he needs to sit or goes down? You don't have any first baseman on your bench behind Rizzo. You don't have a shortstop on your bench at the moment with Peraza down. So if Volpe goes down, I don't think you want to go Torres at short again. Then who do you put there at second? You don't have a third baseman behind Oswaldo. It just feels like with this infield, if guys go down, if just one guy goes down, the Yankees are going to have to do a ton of maneuvering again. Guys are going to have to play out of position again. They might have to call some random journeyman up. It gives me, and I hate to say this on the day before opening day or 2 days before opening day, but it gives me the 2023 Yankees outfield vibes, where it has potential to be just this makeshift pile of junk if a guy or two goes down. And you're just playing guys out of position. And you're calling up journeymen. And that's why I was kind of hoping the Yankees would have went out on the market and signed a Matt Chapman. I wasn't opposed to that. I mean, the Giants got him at a bargain, $54 million for 3 years. This was a guy who, under Scott Boras, was looking for a whole lot more than that, folks. How about Gio Urshela? I wanted him. He's the cheaper option. Obviously, Yankees fans are familiar with him. He had a good Yankees career for a couple years. Could have easily signed him. He signed with Detroit for $1.5 million on a 1-year deal. Tell me you couldn't have went and done that for some insurance? And there's a name that Yankees fans are very high on. You're hearing this name a lot on social media. Donovan Solano, who played with the Twins last year. This is a veteran free agent, right-handed bat, but he could also play first base, second base, and third base. So there's your versatility in the infield if a guy goes down. And he's had a solid career. This is exactly what you want from a bench bat. He's a productive bench bat. Across 10 seasons in the bigs, Solano's batted .279 with a .711 OPS and a .95 OPS plus. Last year with the Twins, .282 average, .760 OPS with a .110 OPS plus. So there's your average to above average bat off the bench right there. Who can play a lot, who can play very versatile defense. So, yeah, I was hoping the Yankees would have signed another infielder. Because I don't know about, Jahmai Jones, second baseman / outfielder. They have enough outfield depth. a lot of Yankees fans, myself included, wanted them to give, hopefully I'm pronouncing the kid's first name correct, Yorbit Vivas, a chance. They got him from the LA Dodgers deal. An exciting prospect. I feel like there's a lot more there in Vivas. Where Jones, I feel like, is just a journeyman nobody. No disrespect, but, he's a 26-year-old career minor leaguer who has played 3 seasons in the bigs and has been on 3 different teams. And he's 170 as a hitter with a 460 OPS in 36 major league games. Vivas had himself a good spring. He's a left-handed hitter. He can play left field, but he can also play second base and third base. So that was interesting. It is interesting. Just a little nervous to see how that plays out, because what if Rizzo gets hurt again? God forbid anybody else in that infield gets hurt. We have to kind of scramble. Talk a little about the rotation when we return. Stay with us.
You can follow us on social media as well. On Instagram, we're at BD4Pod and at Rob J. Carbone. On X, we're at BD4Pod and at RJCBD4. And on Facebook, we're BD4. If you're interested in our website, just go to www.bd4blog.com. You can subscribe to our blog on there right on the front page. Just like on the podcast, we cover Yankees, Knicks, and MMA. Also on our website are the links to the different platforms for the podcast. Thanks so much.
So, actually, right then during that break, got news that Jordan Montgomery went to the Arizona Diamondbacks. Still trying to read about it here. Hold on. So, we'll talk about this in a second. Yeah, Jordan Montgomery to the Diamondbacks. We'll talk about the contract info in a second, but I want to talk about the rotation. I have some question marks there, obviously. But, one of the things when they announced the opening day starter that got me a little curious is they're stacking left-handers up top, going with Nestor and Rodon 1 and 2. Houston is a very, very right-handed heavy hitting lineup. Outside of Alvarez and Kyle Tucker, I think the other 7 guys are all right-handed. Could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure. So that concerns me, especially a lefty like, honestly, both of them. But Nestor specifically, I don't like stacking them, spread out the harm. But looks like that's what they're doing. And Luis Gil, the other day, was announced as the number 5. We talked about him in 650. So if you haven't checked out that, it was a couple episodes ago. Check it out. Just real quick on him. I loved Luis Gil. I loved what I saw from him in 2021, was it? I thought he had some great starts to start off. He definitely slowed down a bit as he went deeper into his season. But I think he's got really good stuff. He's got strikeout stuff. The fastball sits 97 to 100. The cutter looks pretty good. He's working on a changeup. And his slider, I think the command of that slider is going to be very important for him. It's got some filthy movement. And it's a great compliment coming off the fastball. Just needs some location. But yeah, I'm excited for Luis Gil. He got hurt in 2022. Tore the UCL. Had to get Tommy John. Was out all of last year. in all of 2022 after the one start. And I'm excited. Again, I think he's got excellent stuff. He's coming off a really good camp. And obviously there's injury concern because he's just coming off the surgery, and the Yankees are already saying they're going to limit him about 100 to 150. And just guys who throw this hard scare me. Plenty of guys have gotten Tommy John twice. The latest being Big Time Gambler. And then there are a lot of new names just in the bullpen. A whole lot of new guys. Obviously, you're getting your returning Yankee arms in Ian Hamilton, Clay Holmes, Johnny Lasagna. But Caleb Ferguson's coming in. That's a new name. He's an established arm. He's been in the MLB since 2018. He's coming over from LA with Victor Gonzalez, who has 3 years of experience. And then the rest of those guys, prospects, journeymen, Clayton Beeter is from the Joey Gallo deal, which I'm surprised they called him up after calling Luis Gil up to start at the number 5. I would have thought that they would have kept Clayton Beeter down there in AAA to stretch out as a starting pitcher. So that's interesting. They're going to use him as a reliever, and maybe he'll get some. I'm sure he'll get some spot starts, and guys always go down. And then you have Luke Weaver and Nick Birdie, 2 journeymen, who will probably get the mop-up role. So they'll probably pitch on punt days as the openers, I'm sure. That's your pitching staff. Opening day lineup, folks. We'll get back to the pitching in a second. I want to talk a little bit more about one guy in particular who we've spent a lot of time on this offseason. But the opening day lineup. Aaron Boone was on Talking Yanks. And from what I gathered, I have a pretty good idea of what his lineup is going to be on opening day. If you listen to that episode, which it's obviously, I'm sure a lot of people listen to that shit. It's really good stuff. If you listen to it, he gives a pretty good idea. He basically, he told John Boy the majority of it, and you were able to make out what it was. So it seems like it's going to be on Thursday, Glaber to lead off at second base, Soto in right field, batting second, batting third, Judge in center field. And then it gets very interesting because you're facing Framber Valdez, who's a left-hander with a good curveball, and Boone said that he's planning on going with Stanton at cleanup as the DH. And then Rizzo 5 at first base. And then he said Volpe, he might put 6 shortstop. And Verdugo 7 in left field. Oswaldo will be 8th at third. And then you got Jose Trevino, since it's a left-handed pitcher, batting 9th at backstop. So there you go. That's probably your opening day lineup. Again, if you listen to the episode, you'll probably gather the same thing. I've said it before. I hope that the Yankees favor Austin Wells. Whether that be 60-40 or just like strictly he gets the right-handed pitchers. I just hope that he gets the majority of the reps. I also hope that Giancarlo Stanton's not batting 4 if he's not hitting by May. I think he's a guy you should put 6. If he's adequate, if he's giving you decent production, 5 I can live with. but I don't think he's a 4-hole hitter anymore. Volpe, I would have 9 because that's your secondary leadoff hitter. And then maybe a lot of people are talking about maybe putting him at leadoff eventually. I need to see him prove it first. I need to see him get on base, show us that he can make more contact and draw the walk a little more and stop chasing those curves. Show us that 2-strike approach that he's been working on. But at the end of the day, they just need their big boppers to stay healthy. Those are the key bats. Aaron Judge and Juan Soto. Those guys stay healthy. The Yankees will hit. I have the utmost confidence in this lineup as long as those two are just healthy. This is where I want to transition back to the pitching staff. Because the key arm, there's only one guy. All the other 12 other pitchers, no. None of those guys are key. There's one guy that's going to be key, and I wrote an article about this guy on BD4blog.com. If you want to go to BD4blog.com, check out that article on why he's going to be so key, and we'll talk about him in a second. First, let's head to break. Be right back. Studio 69 Productions is a podcast production agency created by Leo Rodriguez to allow content creators to market their podcast. It's an online platform that will market your podcast or any other project that you're working on. Get in touch with Leo Rodriguez from Studio 69 Productions. You can find Studio 69 Productions on Instagram at Studio69NJ. Studio 69 Productions, where dreams are heard and born. Welcome back to the show. Welcome back to episode 652 of BD4. The Yankees 26-man roster is finalizing. It seems like we're getting an idea of it. But a key to their rotation this year, the key to their rotation, to their season, Carlos Rodon. Am I wrong? He becomes more key by the day. And my gosh, am I nervous. Because the Yankees lost a whole lot of pitchers in this past offseason. Via trade, via fucking free agency. Obviously in the Juan Soto deal, Michael King, Johnny Brito, Randy Vasquez, and prospect Drew Thorpe. Gone. They lost Wandy Peralta to, I think, the Padres in free agency. Sevy with the Mets. Domingo went to Pittsburgh. These are all guys who pitched in the rotation last year or were planned to be in the rotation this year in some capacity. Weiser, Fitz, Judice, they all went to Boston in the Verdugo deal, and the Yankees lost an additional 3 right-handed pitchers to the Rule 5 draft. And there might be some more that I'm forgetting. So they lost those guys. They missed out on a ton of big names. Yamamoto signed with the Dodgers for $326 million. Burns went from Milwaukee to Baltimore. Cease went from Chicago to San Diego. Snell signed with the Giants for $62 million. And Montgomery, while it seemed like the talks kind of reignited, doesn't matter now because Montgomery just signed with the Arizona Diamondbacks, who will face the Yankees in the second series of the season for $25 million this year and a vesting option for next season. Could have done that, but the Yankees are worried about their tax. They're worried about that 110% competitive balance tax. They don't want to have to pay small market teams. Okay. Well, Cole just went down with an injury. Schmidt, Stroman, and Nestor all come with giant question marks. So all of that pressure that Rodon crumbled with last year has now amplified, tripled, quadrupled. I'm worried about that. How is he going to handle this? He's facing Houston, his first start of the season, the second day of the year. He didn't have the best camp, didn't have the worst camp, but he had mixed results. The important thing was he got through it healthy, and the velocity seemed like it was back up around 94 to 96, which is fine. That's where he lives. I think he needs a better pitch mix. That's going to be the key to his season. Carlos Rodon needs a better pitch mix. He relies on the fastball high, and then he plays his slider off of that. Now, this camp, he worked at a curve, a changeup, and he completely added in the cutter to his arsenal. Now, the cutter is a Matt Blake pitch. This is a pitch Matt Blake started emphasizing in 2021, his second season with the Yankees. He started getting guys like Jameson Taillon to throw the cutter. Luis Severino mixed it in. Later on, it was Nestor Cortez. He had one of his better seasons using that cutter. Lucas Litke thrived with the Yankees for a couple years with the cutter. And Garrett Cole has started to use it a little bit in the last couple seasons. So it's a Matt Blake thing. And, basically the idea is just to give batters a different look, different arm slots, different spin rates on the ball. And Carlos Rodon is going to start mixing that in. So I like the idea. I would still like for him to go to the changeup more. That's been a pitch he's always had in his back pocket, but just doesn't go to it much. Just because the cutter, it's the same direction as a slider. They both go from left to right out of his hand. A changeup is going to break low and away when you throw that to righties. That's a pitch I feel like he should put some emphasis on. And he doesn't have to favor any of these pitches. But I would just like for him to mix it all in enough to have just to diversify his pitch mix. Give hitters a different look. So if he's 60% four-seamer and 30% slider again, I wouldn't love that, I would like for him to mix up his secondary pitches more. You could be fastball heavy. He loves going high with that heat. And you could favor the slider more than everything else, but I would like for him to mix in those other pitches. So Carlos Rodon is the key to the Yankees, period, this year. They need him to pitch like the $162 million pitcher that they signed last year. He needs to be the ace he was with the Giants, with the White Sox in his final season there. So we'll see, folks. And that's where I will wrap this up. The Yankees take on the Astros to open up the season. Starts on Thursday. Nestor Cortez will pitch for the Yankees. Framber Valdez, in a lefty versus lefty matchup, will pitch for Houston. Man, it'd be nice to take that series. Take it, not two. Take the series. That'd be a great way to start the year, but we'll see. Can't say I'm super optimistic about what we are looking like pitching-wise right now, but let's see. If Nestor Cortez goes out there on Thursday and he shoves and he gives you 5 great innings, 6 solid innings, could be a nice boost. But he hasn't exactly been great against the Astros in his career. Folks, let's get to our final break. And then when we return, we'll get to our trivia. And that will be that. Stay with us here on BD4, episode 652. Be right back.
Thanks for listening to BD4, where there is no better way to get your Yankees and Knicks analysis. We also do MMA, Yanks every series, Knicks every game, and MMA on occasion.
Okay. For episode 652, our trivia question. How old was Derek Jeter when he won World Series MVP? How old was Derek Jeter when he won World Series MVP? Let me know the answer wherever you can reach me. If you get the answer correct, I'll give you a shout out in the next episode in front of all 2 of our listeners. Folks, that's it. That's it. I appreciate it. Episode 652 is in the books. Thanks for stopping by and listening to BD4. Maybe you're watching BD4 over on YouTube. Thank you for stopping by over there. That's it. I'll see you soon. If you're a Knicks fan, I'll see you in our next Knicks episode, which will be tomorrow night / maybe Thursday morning. And it'll be out either Wednesday or Thursday night, where we'll be covering Knicks Raptors. And then to Yankees fans, I will see you after this 4-game set, so sometime after the weekend. But thank you for tuning in, and I'm very excited for this season, despite my concerns and questions. Let's do it. Go Yanks. This episode was brought to you by Anchor.
Hey there! If you stayed the entire way through, we thank you immensely for it. We hope you enjoyed this podcast and that you come back for the next episode real soon. Don't forget to subscribe, comment, download these episodes, and share them with your friends as well. BD4 is a 5-star podcast simply because of you, and we'd like to keep it that way. Have a wonderful day. Go Yankees, and go Knicks!